I'm like so, it's like I'm allergic to. Shabbat Shalom, friends.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. As I was saying, I'm like allergic to starting the service late. It's like, it's the most Yekish thing about me. It's the most like German Jewish thing about me. Is not for us anyway. Not for other Jews for sure. For us, not so much. Anyway, it is wonderful to see you all. Tonight, of course, is the first Shabbat of Elul, which just began yesterday. Go looking for this month in our Bible, and you will find it once. Nehemiah, chapter 6. The wall of Jerusalem is finished on the 25th of Elul, and after 52 days of work. That is the entire biblical career of Elul. Thank you. One verse about a deadline, about people who've repaired something broken while their enemies stood off to the side explaining that it couldn't be done. Everything else came later. Later generations gave this month a shofar every day, a psalm, and an assignment, cheshbon nefesh, an accounting of the soul. The name comes straight out of bookkeeping, and that's not an accident. An accounting is not a mood. You sit down, you open the ledger, and you go line by line, and you do it whether or not you feel moved. A month from now, we will be in this room on Erev Rosh Hashanah. Nehemiah had 52 days. We have less than a month, actually, at this point, until that time. And so now it's time to begin. I invite you to open your special Elul booklet to page 2 for Yedid Nefesh.
ידיד נפש אב הרחמן, ידיד נפש אב הרחמן, משוך עבדך אל רצונך, משוך עבדך ילה לה 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 אל רצונך. ירוץ עבדך כמו אייל, ישתחווה יללי יללי אל מול הדרך.
And we continue opening our service, Kabbalat Shabbat, with Ozi v'Zimrat Yah on the next page, page 3.
Ozi v'Zimrat Yah v'yehi li lishua. 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 Ozi v'Zimrat Yah v'yehi li lishua.
It's no accident these two first opening songs have been so tied directly to the relationship between us and God, between us as people and God, because that is very much the relationship present throughout the month of Elul. As we are checking our own souls, we're also reaching out for God, who is closer to us in this month, we believe spiritually than at any other time during the year. As we say, the king is in the field. And so we turn now to page 4 as we're ready to welcome Shabbat now. It's my honor to invite up Marcia Pankowich-West to offer our reading and candle blessing on pages 4 and 5 of your booklet.
Fastening the light of the Sabbath candles to my eyes, my palms are tense. Where my fathers rested in the desert, the light wraps itself to my eyes, the light gathers into me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you, Marshall. And for this month, we're doing so much reflecting that we want to get every moment out of our Shabbat, and we'll suspend then our congregational practice, local minhag makom, of joining our putting our Kiddush prayer at the very end of the service, instead doing it right now in this part. You may turn the page to page 6. It is my honor to invite up to join us, to lead the Kiddush for us, Roger Friedman. Right there with the, yeah.
This right here.
Right here, top of 6.
You know, that's a hot shalti.
Okay.
No worries.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav ve'ratzavanu ve'shabbat kadsho.
Sorry, why don't we try? It's easier when we sing. How about that?
Okay.
We'll sing together. Roger, would you go ahead and grab that Kiddush cup for us? And we'll join together on page 6 in the singing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikraye kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu bacharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchatanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. You can take a sip if you want. L'chaim. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. And now we turn our attention to a special piece of Elul liturgy On page 7 at the top, Brendan and I we can all sing if you know the tune and the words. We're going to sing Psalm 27, which is the psalm Jews add to every morning, every service from the first of Elul until the end of our period.
All the Hebrew's perfect. The English is a little different when we get there. Sing along if you know her version. If you don't, it's okay.
אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אש, אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה בקש. שבתי בבית אדוני, שבתי כל ימי חיי, לחזות בנועם אדוני ולבקר בהיכלו, לחזות בנועם אדוני, to gaze upon the beauty of Adonai. One thing I ask you, Adonai, to be with you all of my life. One thing I ask you, Adonai, to be with you all of my life.
And we continue our Kabbalat Shabbat with L'chadodi. On page 8, all of the verses we traditionally recite are on the page, and only those verses. When we reach what is the fourth section, or the fifth section on this, the fourth verse, Bo'и v'shalom, on our page 8, I will invite you at that time, the final verse, to rise and face the entrance of the sanctuary to greet the Sabbath bride. Please join us on page 8.
לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מן קדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. תתעוררי, התעוררי, תבעורך ומתעוררי, אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטר כבלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Please be seated. We continue on page 10 with Chatzi Kaddish, the dividing line between our receiving of Shabbat and its real, true observance. Please join me where appropriate in the Chatzi Kaddish on page 10. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah be'alma divrachu teviamlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchayedecho beit Yisrael Bagala uvizman kariv Veimeru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam Ulol Me'almaya Yitbarach Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpar v'yitromam v'yinaseh V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei d'Kudesha Richu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shihirata Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma ve'imeru Amen. And now we turn, well, we don't actually have to turn. The Baruch Hu is on the facing page, page 11. As a reading beforehand, we offer the words above Baruch Hu. I orient myself to the east, facing the land of Israel. I align myself with my people, embracing a noble tradition. I enlist in the work of justice, repairing a broken world. I take upon myself this mitzvah. Wherever you go, be a blessing. With that thought, I invite you now to please rise for the Baruch Hu on page 11.
Lai, la, 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai המבורך ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד המבורך לעולם ועד.
Please be seated. By the way, every week of Elul we have these booklets. Some of the booklets are small. There are also large print booklets. If you are someone who finds the print on the smaller booklets too small, just a reminder, we also have larger print booklets so that everyone can pray with us together. We turn now to page 12 for Ma'ariv Aravim, our prayer for the evening, recited first in Hebrew and then in English, a different English translation out of this particular booklet, and we will recite the Chatima, as always, only in the Hebrew portion. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma poteach sha'arim, uvidvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila. Adonai tzavaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, your great name fills the universe with majestic might. Your word creates twilight and dusk. As your wisdom opens the gates of night, your discernment separates the changing seasons and causes the passage of time. The stars arrayed across the sky reveal your design. You roll out the cycle of darkness and light, shaping day and night. You sweep away day and carry the world into nightfall, setting day apart from nighttime. You are God of all we can perceive and all that is beyond our perception. Living eternal God, be our sovereign to the end of time. Blessed are you, Adonai, creator of twilight and of dusk. And we turn now to page 14 for Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, B'shochteinu u'vkumeinu, Nasiach b'chukecha, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגד
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Blessed are you, God, who loves your people Israel. Shoftim, our portion this week, and this doesn't get talked about a lot, and I don't have room to cover it in my sermon, so I'm talking about it now. Shuts down fortune tellers. No diviners, no soothsayers, no one who raises ghosts up to consult with them, Ouija boards, all of it. Bad. Thank you. Then the Torah offers an alternative in 2 words. Tamim tihyeh. And then it says, Im Adonai Elohecha, so we can get the whole phrase. Tamim tihyeh im Adonai Elohecha, be whole with God. Rashi reads this without decoration. Walk with God wholeheartedly. Stop trying to find out what is coming. Take what comes and take it with God. That is the discipline of Elul, and it's harder than it sounds because an honest accounting looks backward at a year we lived instead of forward at a year we can hopefully guess at. And the Shema is where we practice being present. And I invite you now to please rise and say it with us on page 16 and 17.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Vaed.
We continue with V'ahavta starting on page 19 and then going to page 20 of your booklet. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'ham v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'aderech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha uv'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uv'tavtam al mizuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tiskeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem le'Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. Please be seated. As a reading, we offer on page 21 of V'ahavta for Elul. You shall love the ones who are close with all your heart, with all your spirit, with all your strength. Remember these words, inscribe them on your heart. Love them when they struggle, when they sadden and disappoint you. Love them when they fail. See the good within them, even when they can't. Look at them and listen, even when it's hard. Be grateful for their guidance, even their reproof, when they save you from yourself. Love them when they give you joy, and love them when they don't. When you lie down, let go of anger. When you rise up at dawn, begin again. Praise them for their deeds at home. Speak to them in public with respect. Bind yourself to the ones you love with promises kept and vows fulfilled. Open to them the gates of your heart, the doorway of your soul, and let them know you. So shall the ones you cherish feel your love, your presence, and your care. Now a word on our portion again. Shoftim sets the rules, among many things, for going to war. And one of those rules sends people home. The officers announced that anyone afraid or faint-hearted should leave the ranks. Rabbi Akiva took that literally, saying some people cannot stand the sound of battle. Rabbi Yossi Haglili disagreed. He said, the frightened man is the one afraid of the sins in his own hand. Rabbi Yossi is describing exactly what people bring into Elul. The suspicion that our record disqualifies us from the room. And then here is Micha Mocha, sung by people who walked into the water carrying everything that had been done in Egypt. Nobody was screened at the shore, and nobody was sent home. Everyone moved forward together, the way we will as we sing Micha Mocha on page 22 together.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Micha Mocha ba'enim Adonai Micha Mocha ne'emar b'kodesh Torah tehilot osefet Torah tehilot osefet מלכותך רבו בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יאי לי לי, יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי לי לי, יאי לי לי לי, יאי לי לי לי.
Thinking of Hashkivenu, a prayer we say as we go to sleep, the Talmud preserves one detail about the bedtime habits of Mar Zutra. Every night as he climbed into bed, he said out loud, "I forgive anyone who has caused me pain." He did not wait for an apology. He didn't even wait for Elul. He cleared the ledger before he closed his eyes, and then he slept. The line was so useful that it ended up printed in the bedtime Shema, where we still say a version of it every single night of the year. Hashkivenu asks God to spread a shelter over us and guard us until morning. The Talmud understood that part of that shelter is ours to put up. Nobody rests well while still keeping score at midnight. And the accounting this month runs in two directions: what we owe and what we are still holding against somebody else. Tonight, before you fall asleep, try saying his sentence out loud and mean it about one specific person. Then tomorrow, or after Shabbat would probably be better now that I say it. You write something and you think, this is really great. And then you go, wait a second. Wait until after Shabbat probably, but then start on your own half of the ledger. With that, we move to our prayer of Shabbat, our joyous prayer, Vishamru, which we will sing joyfully on page 24.
But not so fast.
But not so fast.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Before we begin our Amidah, which will begin on page 26, I want you to be aware that in our booklet, this has an expanded section of the Amidah that is helpful for reflection during the month of Elul. So when we get to silent prayer, I hope you will engage in this part of the Siddur, which is particular to this book in this time of the year. At this time, I invite you to please rise, if you are able, for the Amidah on page 26.
Adonai Sifratai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah le'Hoshia, Morid hatah, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechayei matim berachamim rabim. Somech noflim ve'ofech holim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha bal gevurot, umido melach, melech memit u'mechaye, u'matzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah l'hachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
I invite you now to continue with either the words on the page through page 43 or with the meditation of your own heart, and to be seated when you have finished your Amidah.
We continue on page 44 with the singing of Ose Shalom.
43.
43.
I think this is towards the end of the booklet. Sometimes the numbers get a little off with the big one versus the little one.
Okay. 43.
So we're at Ose Shalom. It's 43 in the little book. I guess it's 44 in the big one. Oh.
Did everybody find it?
Has everybody got Ose Shalom, wherever it is? I got a little book of 43.
Oh, there's two different versions of the book.
Sowing confusion.
We did have to print more this year. There's a chance that when they got printed this year, something, I don't know what happened to that. I'm sorry.
No, now we're going to pray for peace, not confusion. Okay. Ose shalom, shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Hu yaseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Amen. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
Turn now to the thoughts of those who are in need of healing among us. And I invite you in your book to turn to page 45. At this time, as we think of those who are in need of healing in our community, we think of the following people who we will pray for: Malka Chal, Carmen Chase, Fred Delmonico, Deborah Edelman Dolan, Neil B. Erickson, Roger Friedman, Seth Gallitzer, James Grafton, Perry Graves, Paul Hinkle, Bob and Sidney Califf, Eric Leitz, Mary Moore, Barbara Morgenstern, Danny Moss, A.J. Packer, Vivian Parker, Dan Pauls, Lupe Perez, Len Richter, Steve and Paula Shatera, Joe Scraper, Liz Turney, Tom Van Cleek, and Jesse Williams. If at this time you would like to offer the name of someone who you know of is in need of healing but was not mentioned aloud already, I invite you to share their name with the congregation as my eyes meet yours, or if you're joining us on Zoom, to please put their names in the chat.
Rachel Gittel, Batsura, Rivka, David.
The Jeffries.
Thinking of all those whose names were mentioned out loud, as well as those we keep in our heart, we offer the prayer for healing, first chanted by me, then sung by all of us on the bottom of page 45, and I'm assuming 44 for some people? Okay. 46 for some people? Oh, we got a 3-page spread, folks. That's not good. That's rough. Okay, we'll figure it out. Okay, but everyone knows where the words are essentially. You'll find Misha Berach either on 44, 45, or 46. Misha Berach Avotenu Vimotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sar Rivka Rachel v'Leyahu v'Rechet Hacholim Shalanu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Aleihem Lahachlimam Rapotam L'Chachazikam Vishlach Lehem Mehera Refuah Shlema Min Hashamayim Refuat HaNefesh Refuat HaGuf Hashta B'Gala V'Zman Kariv V'Nomar Amen. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu V'kor HaBracha Amen. We wish them a refuah shlema mehera, a complete and speedy recovery. Elul has finally begun. It's not a big cheer, I get it, that's okay. With it comes the shofar, traditionally sounded every weekday morning, a short blast at the end of the service. Maimonides had heard a voice in it saying, "Wake up, you sleepers." Almost a year since the last day of atonement. We are not sleeping literally, at least none of you should be, I only just started the sermon, but rather our moral edge, which we sharpen each year, has perhaps grown dull. We must awaken, we must examine our souls for where we missed the mark, turn inward as our primary focus. I have stood at this bema many times and defended Israel. I do not regret a single one of those sermons, and I will give more of them. But Elul is not a month for defense. This week, in a place called Kusra, south of Nablus, a group of Israeli Jews surrounded 3 Palestinian homes. They pitched tents at the doorways. They cut off water and electricity. A few families remain shut inside. It's been over 6 days. Israeli activists who tried to carry in food and water were turned back by the IDF. This story I'm telling you isn't a rumor circulated by people who hate us. It is on video, and it is in the Israeli press, and the Israeli army has been trying badly and slowly to end it. Today, just a few hours ago, Israel's ambassador to the United States posted a video from Washington. Yechiel Leiter, who I've met and like very much, is not in any way a critic of the settlement enterprise. He helped found a Jewish neighborhood in Hebron in the 80s. He buried a son who fell in Gaza. And this is what he said. What we saw in the village of Kusra this week is not what it means to settle the land. He said it with our Torah portion this week, Shoftim, in his hand. And our portion has much to say about the situation in Kusra. So let's look together at what the Torah says about how settlement should operate. Shoftim opens with an instruction so ordinary that we rarely engage with it in sermons. Shoftim v'shotrim titen lecha bechol sha'arecha. Judges and officers making a court we are required to appoint in all our gates. Not one high court in the capital. Courts in every town, every settlement, every hilltop, every gate we claim as ours. 4 verses later comes the line every Jewish child can recite. Tzedek, tzedek tirdof. Justice, justice shall you pursue. Some choose to stop there, satisfied. The verse does not stop there. It continues, so that you may live and inherit the land that the Lord your God is giving you. Rashi, reading the Sifrei, draws the conclusion, appointing worthy judges is itself enough to keep Israel alive and to settle us on our soil. Courts are not the paperwork of settlement. Rashi says courts are the settling. That's how ingrained justice should be in the process of settlement. The rabbis asked why in Tzedek Tzedek Tirdof the word justice is doubled. There are many explanations, obviously. One of them from Rabbi Simcha Bunim of Peshishcha gave the answer that ought to be nailed to the door of every regional council office in Judea and Samaria. Justice must be pursued justly. You cannot arrive at a righteous end by unrighteous means and call the arithmetic Torah. If you want to build a settlement, its legality is a matter for a court, and no court gave permission to build a settlement within another person's home. Then, our portion again has something to say in chapter 19, one sentence. You shall not move your neighbor's boundary marker which those before you set, in the inheritance you will inherit in the land. A boundary stone is moved at night. Nobody sees it being moved. In the morning, one person's field is a little larger. The neighbor has lost a row of olives. There was no ring cameras then, so there was no proving who did it. The Torah names that crime precisely here in the middle of the chapters about taking possession of the land, because this crime between peoples happens when borders are already unclear. I'm not debating in this moment the claims of anyone against anyone. Only I want to say this is why it is so crucial for law to lead the way, rather than force and confrontation and plots and schemes. And the Torah here is backing me up. And a chapter later in the laws of siege, since this is essentially a siege now, do not take an axe to the trees, even in a war you are winning, even against a city that will not surrender. Ki ha'adam eitz hasadeh. Why? Because the olive tree is not a combatant. You cannot pretend to love the land of Israel and destroy it to encourage people to move away so that you can settle there. You can be for or against settlement. All should be against anarchy and violence. Then the portion ends with a very strange ritual. A body, in this case, is found in an open field between two towns. This person died and no one knows who did it. The elders of the nearest town go down to a riverbed. They do a ritual with a cow. They wash their hands and they declare, "Our hands did not shed this blood, and our eyes did not see." The Talmud asks the obvious question. Did anyone actually suspect the elders of this town of murder? And the answer in Tractate Sota is that this is not a plea of innocence. The elders are swearing that they did not let this man leave their town hungry and saw him away. They are testifying that they did their job and treated him as a neighbor. A corpse in the field is a communal failure until the community proves otherwise. And the leadership has to walk out of town and say so out loud in the open air where everyone can hear. Heschel put it in 7 words. Some are guilty, but all are responsible. That is Elul. Not the private remorse of the guilty, the public accounting of the responsible. I was glad to see Ambassador Leiter begin this process. I look forward to Prime Minister Netanyahu ensuring the IDF swiftly resolves the situation, and also to him condemning this criminal activity that some associate with the settlement movement. I'm not sure he will, but I hope. It is Elul, after all. We do not need to love Israel less right now. A love that cannot say a hard thing is not love. And it is flattery, and flattery has never once protected anyone. I am proud of the work on the ground of many of the Zionist institutions that you voted for last year in the World Zionist Congress elections and ensured that reasonable people and not extremists would control these same institutions. The Jewish National Fund, the Jewish Agency for Israel, and others. You have made an impact for the better that will resist the extremism we see in some parts of Judea and Samaria. At the same time, this moment does not ask us to hand our vocabulary to people who will use this incident as a crowbar to pry loose the whole enterprise, the whole state, the whole return. Keep giving to Israel and going to Israel. We have a family that's even traveled there in the last few months, because a Jew who withdraws has not become more moral, only more comfortable and less informed. Support the Israelis doing the unglamorous work of documenting and prosecuting and standing in the road with jugs of water by giving to the reform movement in Israel, which is involved in so much of this work. And teach the sentence in its full length, both halves of it, so one never learns the first half without the second. Justice, justice you shall pursue, that you and your children may long endure on the land that I have given you. The land is a test. And I still believe the Jewish people will pass the test this time. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May it be God's will. And now it is time for announcements. I invite our president, Melissa Householder, to offer announcements this evening.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
On behalf of our board of directors, I want to extend a warm welcome to our guests and members. On this Shabbat, we extend our thanks to Tina Allen for ushering, Jane Green for opening the building, Marsha Pankowitz-West for lighting the candles, Roger Friedman for leading the Kiddush, Doug Myers for hosting the streaming equipment, and Brendan Howard for leading our music, and Rabbi Stern for leading our service. Next Friday, August 21st, please join us for this Elul Shabbat service led by Rabbi Stern. Brendan Howard will lead the music. The Shabbat service will start at 6:30. For other upcoming
It
events...
will be outside, importantly. I don't know how it
Oh.
didn't make it into these, but it will be outside.
Next
As
Friday...
long as the temperature is under 95 degrees.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Next Friday, join us outside for an Elul service. For other upcoming events and other important information, please check tonight's handout, the Temple Beth Shalom website calendar at tbstopeka.org, the monthly bulletin, or the weekly announcements. Tonight's tzedakah will go to harvesters, and the tzedakah box is in the foyer. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Yes, we have an Elul service outside next week. We'll also be doing birthday and anniversary blessings. And of course, because my sermon was both long and yelly tonight, it won't be either next week. So, there you go. That's my promise. Okay. At this time, we're going to turn to page is going to be tough. We're going to do Aleinu L'Shabeach somewhere between page 46 and 40, somewhere between 45 and 47, I assume, based on my number. You'll find it somewhere in there. It's Aleinu L'Shabeach, and we do it all the time. We'll be doing the top paragraph on the page where you find it, and the bottom paragraph on the page that follows. Please rise for Aleinu L'Shabeach. Thank you. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. At this time, we think of those who've been taken from this earth. We think of, recalling the yahrzeits, the anniversaries of the passing of Virginia Kaufman, Willard Weeks, Rebecca Lieberman, Peggy Black, and Maya E. Sandhouse. If at this time you are thinking of someone for whom you are in a period of mourning or remembering a yahrzeit, I invite you to share their name with the community as my eyes meet yours. Or if you're joining us on Zoom, to please put their names in the chat.
Ruth Friedman.
I invite you to turn now to find the words of the Kaddish Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish, between pages 47 and 49. And if it is your custom or you are in a period of mourning, to please rise at this time. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu. Le'el min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha. May their memory be for a blessing. Please be seated. At this time, I invite you to turn towards somewhere around page 52 for the sounding of the shofar. And we do something interesting. We're going to do it every day for a month. And you'll certainly, every time you come here for Friday night, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. So you will hear this at least 4 times this month if you join us. And it rouses our soul to this season. We read the 4th Kavanah, meditation for the sounding of the shofar. The shofar sounds and I am awake, shaken out of the days of sleep. I see the truth. The day of judgment approaches. Soon we will stand before the one who can't be flattered or fooled. Soon we will stand in the courtroom of conscience. Soon we will know the joy of beginning again. Now, Doug Myers, who's our Baal technology, is also our Baal Tekiah. So do you want to blow, or you don't want to blow? I'm happy to blow I'm ready to blow. So I'm going to blow. Here's the thing. I'm going to blow because earlier, Brendan can attest to this, I've blown exactly once this whole year. I did not practice leading up to this. I blew it once. Perfect. What are the odds I can go 2 for 2? Not great, but we're going to try. I will now sound a blast of the shofar. This book has doing Tekiah, Shvarim, Trua, Tekiah. That's not traditional, is just one blast of the shofar, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm not really sure why the book has 3 calls in here, but it does make it longer and more fun for someone who is able to do all 3 of those calls. That's not me, though. So we're going to do a blast of the shofar now. First, I will say the blessing for sounding the shofar. Baruch atah Adonai, shomea tru'ah. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sounds the sounding, or hears the sounding of the shofar. All right. Tekiah. Oh, that would be bad. I promise I'm not going to blow it into the microphone. I'm just going to take a step back real quick. 2 for 2. I hope that will help with rousing your souls. I can't promise we'll go 3 for 3 next week, but we'll try. With that, we're going to turn to page 53 again, your closing song section. The Zmirot are songs for the very first one, Olam Chesed Yibaneh, as we hope this Elul causes our reflection to spread in us the desire to build a world of love with God as our partner.
Olam Chesed Yibaneh, Yadadai, Dai, Dai, Olam Chesed Yibaneh, Yadadai, Olam Chesed Yibaneh, Olam Chesed Yibaneh, this word from love. Yadadai, yadadai.
And Brendan, if you would go ahead and uncover that challah, it is time for Motzi and our Oneg Shabbat. We will go ahead and offer Motzi. If you need the words, they are not in your booklet. They are on page 606 of Mishkan Tefillah if you need them, but we'll probably be done by the time you get there.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz,
Amen. B'tei Avon, and may this first Shabbat of Elul be both rest you for the time that we need to pursue Cheshbon HaNefesh this month. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.